What do you say, baseball fans? Rye Bread talking baseball, episode 12. Celebrating the holiday with gusto here on a casual Tuesday. We're looking at Rays Royals, Braves Yankees, and taking a look at the Mariners. The Mariners are hot. The Mariners are as hot as it was cold last night in Kansas City. The players were having a little trouble with the baseball last night, and it played a big role in the game. In the fifth inning, Wynn got a hold of a ball on the infield. Santana lost track of it. Carlos Santana is a pro. He had the ball move on him there at the last minute. Joey comes around to score. Adames is standing on second, and before you know it, Kiermaier slaps a 1-2 pitch into left field, and the Rays are up 2-0, and it should have been a clean inning. It didn't get better from there for the Royals. They went on to lose the game. But a lot of important things happened for the Rays last night, including Kiermaier hitting the ball hard up the middle. That knocked the other way. If he's hitting to all fields and spraying base hits everywhere, and his batting average starts to creep into the 290s instead of hovering in the 260s, Kevin Kiermaier as a 290 hitter, batting low in that lineup after Wander Franco joins the team, that becomes a lot more dangerous. So it was good to see that he was back and actually looking strong. Those things that he was working on in spring training possibly taking hold. And if he comes back better than ever at the plate, the Rays will take that. He didn't look like he usually does in the field, though. Some of the throws that you expect to see from Kiermaier weren't made last night. Usually he's got a laser, but it could be a little rust off the IL. It was cold. It was windy. I'm not holding that against him. I expect that he'll be in top form in the field shortly if they can get this game in ahead of the snow in Kansas City tonight. But another thing on display last night, Josh Fleming, second strong outing. The guy's just crafty. They could do a Beastie Boys song about this guy. He's got 10.1 innings pitched this year, 1 earned run. He's got an Ernie and a whip under 1. And he just does it differently than other pitchers do nowadays. He's not a power pitcher, doesn't light up the radar gun. He just gets dudes out. He's hanging zeros. That's what he does. And I love watching Fleming go. He's just part of that shadow rotation at the alternate training site. The Rays are going to need help from down there, and they're going to get it. They've got a lot of depth, and it's going to make their push this summer a little surprising for some people. They have a lot of depth at their disposal at that alternate training site, and those players are going to play contributing roles on this team if they're going to go somewhere. And I think it's likely. I think it's likely that this team hasn't even really started to find its stride. And if teams keep gifting them wins like the team did last night, the Royals gave them that game, and they'll take it all day long. I expect the Royals are going to be pumped up and ready to go for tonight's game, again, if they get it in ahead of the snow. The Yankees had all day to think about their losing streak. I can't imagine that was fun. But the Braves come into town loosey-goosey, baby. Their last time out, they had a bachelor party on the Cubs in that night game on Sunday. And they're coming in ready for a tight Yankees team to take the field. That's got to even loosen them up even more. The Braves got to be feeling great about this. They have the advantage in the pitching. Morton going tonight against Tyone. Tyone is not the kind of pitcher that's going to dominate a good lineup like the Braves. I think the Braves match up really well against Tyone tonight. The Yankees are in trouble, and they really need a win. It's a marquee game of the night for sure. I think a lot of people are going to have their eyes peeled to that one. No exception here. I'll be checking it out. The Padres and the Brewers last night. When I tuned into that game, I'm used to looking at the Padres unis and saying, man, those things are slick. But the Brew Crew, roadies, those things were tight. The helmet, the old school mixed with the new. The Brewers were looking sharp last night, and they went in and stole one. But Woodruff is a stud, and then they're going to back him up tonight with Corbin Burnes. If you've never seen Corbin Burnes, Brewers don't get a lot of run, but he is appointment television. If you've never seen Corbin Burnes pitch, do yourself a favor tonight and check out that game against the Padres. That's going to be an awesome matchup tonight. You know I'm looking at that one. Appointment pitchers. You know I can't resist, and he's definitely on the list. Padres guys, everybody knows they're good, but he's a top flight pitcher that you might not have heard of just because he plays in Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burnes, both excellent top flight elite pitchers that people don't really know about because of where they play. But he'll be on display tonight. That's going to be an exciting watch. And as promised, the Mariners. Break up the Mariners. When I saw the Mariners had a negative run differential, I thought, yeah, okay, it's early, they're fluky. But Danny Vietti on Twitter pointed out that the schedule so far for the Mariners is no joke. They've been playing against playoff teams and winning. The only non-playoff team they've matched up against thus far is the Orioles. And the Orioles started hot, sweeping the Red Sox, who sit comfortably on top of the AL East right now. So I think it's getting harder and harder to discount the Mariners, and then they pull one off against the Dodgers. Beating the Dodgers is no small feat. But the Dodgers are going to lose some games. It happens in baseball. I'm not surprised the Dodgers lost a game after an emotional series against the Padres. We were talking about that yesterday, maybe looking ahead. I don't think that's the case. I think the Mariners are just pretty good. And it's not going to get any easier, I don't think, for the Dodgers because the Mariners are playing with swag and confidence. They think they can win. And a lot of the Dodgers' advantage comes from intimidation. And last night, the Mariners showed that's not the case. And if the Mariners are able to take a series from the Dodgers, you can't ignore it. Because the teams they've been winning against thus far are good. And then there is no litmus test better than a series against the Dodgers. And it doesn't mean that the Mariners are going to win the American League because they won a 3-game set against the Dodgers. But if they do end up winning a 3-game set against the Dodgers, you have to at least recognize that and take notice because the Dodgers are that good. And speaking of that good, I haven't touched on the Red Sox much since they swept the Rays and took control of the American League East. We're going to get a lot of Red Sox talk in here just by virtue of them playing the Rays 19 times. But yesterday, April 19, Patriots Day, that's the day everybody can root for the Red Sox. And I'm glad they got a win for that city. Lucas Giolito maybe doesn't have the same feeling about yesterday. 7 runs in the first inning. Giolito is a horse. He's a really good young pitcher on a good team. And the Red Sox were a freight train yesterday. There was no getting in their way. And if you haven't been checking out much Red Sox baseball, you might be surprised their pitching has held up. That's going to be their issue. That's the Yankees' issue. These big market teams with shaky pitching staffs confound me to no end. I have no idea how you can wind up with that kind of pitching staff with those kind of resources. It does not make sense. I don't know how that manages to play out, luxury tax, what have you, but those pitching staffs on those 2 large market teams are surprising. But the Red Sox pitchers have been holding up their end of the bargain, so if they keep pitching like this, I can just put my foot right in my mouth. But I don't think it's likely that they continue to pitch this way. To hit like they are, they're going to hit. Martinez, get out of here. That dude's ridiculous. But my favorite Red Sox player is Verdugo. Alex Verdugo. He's a player. He's a baller. Dirt in his veins type. You know the kind of player I like if you've listened to this show at all. Verdugo's, can't take your eyes off Verdugo. I really enjoy watching him. And we'll see them plenty of times during the year, both at Fenway and in the Trop. So I'll bring that to you, of course, as per the usual. That's going to do it for today. Get at me at RyeBread0844 on Twitter. If you're at the Trop, you want a steak, head over to Bascom's Chop House. Best steak in the city. You will not be disappointed. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow because I'm going to do 162. Thanks.